Hello there my friends, my name is Riskfish and today I'm bringing you a video on ReZero. ReZero is one of the most popular and in-depth stories of the past decade, however despite this it still has many overlooked elements of its story, and today I will be exploring one of them. Sirius, the Archbishop of Wrath, is one of the most mysterious characters in the series with connections to Betelgeuse and a seemingly absent backstory. That said, there is actually quite a bit of evidence to suggest that Sirius is in fact Fortuna, Amelia's aunt from the Elven village. Physical similarities. One of the first things to mention is that while Sirius and Fortuna might initially look very different, the two actually share several similar traits. Firstly, both have silver hair, which is very distinct in ReZero. Secondly, the two share amethyst eyes, which in combination with the hair is a very specific combination of traits, shared only by Fortuna, Sirius, Amelia and Satella. Thirdly, Fortuna and Sirius are the same height. This can be seen in these pictures with Betelgeuse where they both measure up to his neck. Fourthly, they share the same body features such as wide hips, thin arms, small chest and exceedingly long legs. And while Sirius may be thinner, this could easily be a side effect of her current mental condition. Fortuna also is able to survive against Regulus, whose abilities can only be dodged, showing some physical abilities, while Sirius on the other hand is mentioned by Tappei to be the strongest archbishop physically. Timeline continuity. Fortuna was last seen in Elior Forest a century before the events of ReZero. This is relevant because when referring to Betelgeuse she says in this century this is the longest we've been apart. This suggests two things. First of all, that Betelgeuse and Sirius knew each other over a century ago, which is when Fortuna was last seen, and secondly that Sirius also has a long lifespan, which is a common feature of elves. Sirius also says that Fury is mine, it's the precious thing that I received from that person referring to Betelgeuse, which suggests that he was the one who gave her the witch genes of wrath. Fortuna's resurrection. The name Sirius derives from the Greek word for glowing or scorcher, however there is also an older connection with Osiris, the Egyptian god of the afterlife, the dead and resurrection. When you factor in ReZero's heavy ties to mythology, Wrath's connection with fire and the ability of other authorities to resurrect their users, it wouldn't be surprising if Wrath had a Phoenix-style rebirth ability. This would also explain the bandages covering Sirius, which could be due to burns. One other possibility is just like how the sloth genes tried to consume Betelgeuse due to incompatibility, perhaps Sirius' injuries are also the result of incompatibility and the authority trying to consume her. Romance with Betelgeuse. Sirius also has a romantic history with Betelgeuse, claiming to be his wife and adopting his surname. Fortuna also has a long history with Betelgeuse, apparently knowing him when he possessed a female vessel. She also demonstrates clear feelings towards him, turning red when Amelia says that Fortuna and Juice are like mum and dad, and also when Betelgeuse says, "By my view, even yourself and Amelia-san would be infants." Fortuna is visibly displeased that he doesn't see her as a woman and compares her to a child. Finally, when Betelgeuse fights against Pandora and Regulus, Fortuna leaves Amelia with Arch, instead prioritising helping Betelgeuse against the foes. Sirius herself also says this about Betelgeuse: "You'll try your utmost and overstrain yourself alone to reach your desired results," which is likely referring to when Betelgeuse forcibly used the sloth genes despite being incompatible with them in order to fight Regulus. Regulus also references this by saying, "Oh, I see, are you still clinging to the idiot who kept on risking death?" Qualifications of Wrath. In the brief time we see her, Fortuna is shown to be very wrathful, attacking Pandora on sight with an onslaught of ice magic while shouting "Be impaled" and "Apologise to my brother" and the rest, even struggling to control her anger for Betelgeuse, who tells her to stand down. Also, Wrath's opposing virtue is patience, which is often associated with forgiveness. This is relevant because at the start of Amelia's trial in Arc 4, we witness Fortuna's final moments where she asks Amelia to forgive her for hiding everything from her, and Amelia rejects her. The result is that Fortuna dies with an expression filled with surprise and sorrow, rage and grief, disgust and aspiration, and a slight relief. As seen in Arc 2, Wrath builds in a never-ending cycle until someone is forgiven, and one of the next scenes we see is an unknown individual saying, "You are beyond any help, proof of sin, proof of corruption, be cursed and cursed and cursed, and at the finality of your suffering, die witch spawn." I actually believe this is Fortuna talking just after she has been resurrected as Sirius. Hatred of young Amelia. The attack on Heliophorus may have been orchestrated by Pandora, but the reason it happened was because Amelia was there. My belief is that because Amelia didn't forgive Fortuna, Fortuna started to blame Amelia for the attack, the dead elves, her own death, and Betelgeuse's suffering. This can also be seen by Sirius's extreme reaction to Amelia's appearance in Arc 5, saying, "Were you not satisfied with taking my husband from me, you half-witch?" Sirius also seems to have a hatred for kids, with Lustbel and Tina being the only specific victims of the town square slaughter. This again might be due to Sirius's extreme hatred for children, which derives from her hatred of young Amelia. Symbolism and references. Sirius has two details that could also be relevant to Fortuna, and they are her red tear-shaped tattoo under her left eye and the unbroken chains that wrap around her arms. The key thing to note here is that both symbolise imprisonment, and the red colouring of the tattoo can symbolise anger, which may be a clever reference that Sirius is in fact a prisoner to her own wrath, unable to move on without the forgiveness of Amelia. She might also be seeking the forgiveness of Betelgeuse, believing herself responsible for his insanity. However, due to his mental state, cruelly, she would never be able to obtain it. Fortuna is also the Greek god for fortune and luck, and is often depicted as a veiled or blind woman, which could be a reference to Sirius being blinded by rage or unable to see the true cause of her suffering, Pandora. Fortuna can also symbolise bad luck as well, which makes Sirius's appearance in Arc 5 just before the burning of Pristella an ill omen for the coming disaster. One final note is that Sirius is still alive at the end of Arc 5, so there is still the potential for this to become the plot in one of the upcoming arcs. This sadly brings us to the end of the video though. If you have stayed to the end, thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you next time.